Hey guys, welcome to another run of mine on Act 4, Chapter 1.2, Lord of the Swamp Shinryu stage. And as you can probably notice from the setup screen before the battle starts, this is going to be a full Auto Plus run from start to finish. And I know there's a lot of ways to cheese this fight. There's a lot of people with videos showing the Quina and Ultimacia combo, or videos using Zell to abuse the boss's force time and you have infinite punch rushes with Zell. Nothing wrong against using either of those cheese methods, especially since of course we have Dare to Defy, where you probably want to save your harder hitting characters for later stages. But the drawback of course is that if you're using the cheese strategies, the run takes an abnormally long time, roughly 2 to 3 hours. I guess this is somewhat of an alternative. The drawback of course is that you will have to use your stronger characters here, but by doing so you can just hit Auto Plus before the battle starts and the whole run takes less than 10 minutes total. Anyway, moving on to the party and the setup. We have here a party of Warrior of Light, Neon and Rubicante. I use these three together for a couple of reasons. Firstly, of course, you need some form of damage mitigation because every 20% of the boss's HP, not only will they buff themselves with 3 buffs, but they also battery themselves about 100k Brave, and this usually translates into a very big HP attack incoming, and all their HP attacks are guaranteed hit, so you can't have evasion units here unfortunately. For that reason, I'm using Rubicante. Rubicante also of course serves as the main DPS with his counter Fira and counter Firaga. The next big issue, as you can see right here, is that every 2 turns the bosses have, they will use an AoE HP attack called Breath Plus Plus. And if this attack coincides to the HP threshold where they battery themselves with 100k max Brave, essentially this will lead to everyone in the party taking 30k plus HP damage. So beyond Rubicante, you need another form of mitigation in an Auto Plus run. This is where Warrior of Light comes in, and my plan here is also to have Warrior of Light be the main FR and Rubicante and Neon being the FR echoes. Which brings me to Neon herself. The last issue, I guess, mechanics wise on this stage is that the bosses do have ways to boost their Brave damage resistance. Most commonly of course when they grant themselves the buffs, one of which will be 100% Brave damage resistance, which makes all your attacks hit for once. With Neon of course this isn't an issue, since she enables everyone in her party to hit for rainbow damage. Finally, in terms of setup, I did list the skills and the passives that I removed at the start of the video, so you can just go back to the start of the video to see what these are. As always, I also include these in the video description, so you can also see what passives and skills I removed right there. But it is quite important to set up appropriately, otherwise you won't run into a consistent run such as this. If you did the same setup, the run should be fairly consistent. The only possible RNG is that Neon or Rubicante may be the one that pops their FR instead of Warrior of Light. That being said, the chances of this happening is actually pretty low. Why? Because part of the setup involves removing speed passives from both Neon and Rubicante, and with those speed passives removed, most of the time, actually almost all the time, Warrior of Light should get his turn right as you hit 100% force gauge. Now even if it doesn't, and either Rubicante or Neon does their FR first instead, I don't think it's that big a deal. I think beyond Warrior of Light's FR as the main, Rubicante popping his FR first also shouldn't be that bad, and you should probably still make the run. The worst would I guess be Neon, because her FR isn't as good for often strategies. That being said though, I think even with her FR it should work fairly well. But like I said, as long as you remove speed passives from the other 2 characters, Warrior of Light should be getting his turn and popping his FR first. The rest of the party having echoes that are magical also has high relevance on this stage, because as you can see right now, I'm in the boss's force time. In this run in particular, I actually had to just let the bosses take the full 20 turns for them to exit FR. However, with Ruby Kante and Neon, there is a small chance, and it has happened to me, but so there is a small chance that when the bosses regen their Brave every 20% HP, it might happen just as Ruby Kante or Neon is about to get their turn, and in an Auto Plus run the AI will default to their Force Echoes, and if it all lines up perfectly, you may potentially be breaking the enemies with their Force Echoes, hitting Force Weakness, and actually bringing the bosses out of force time. Even if you don't, it's no big deal. Right here on this run, this is a run where I actually tank the entire enemy's force time. Really the only drawback in the force time here is that you can't grant any new buffs to your party, but as long as Warrior of Light has used his LD before the enemies enter force time, which he should because this is an Auto Plus run, you should have enough turns of his shield buff to last the entire enemy force time. Lastly, in terms of skills that I removed, for Neon I removed her S1 mainly because that's an instant turn and I felt that it's a waste of force time turns. For Warrior of Light I removed his EX because his EX grants him a speed up passive and I prefer not to have that. And for Warrior of Light I do have his PT plus, but I actually unequipped his PT plus skill. Now why is that? Because in an Auto Plus run, the AI will have Warrior of Light use his PT plus right at the start instead of LD, and that means that no one in your party will be buffed by shields, and the bosses will KO Ruby Kante right at the start of the battle. You could of course get around this by manually having Warrior of Light set up his shields on turn 1 and then toggling Auto Plus on right after that. However, my preference is to, if it's possible to have a full Auto Plus run, then I will prefer to have a full Auto Plus run. So I just unequipped his PT plus, forcing the AI to use Warrior of Light's LD on turn 1 and therefore providing protection to the party right at the start. Lastly, summon of choice is Diabolos, because in Auto Plus you will never go into summon mode. So I use Diabolos mainly for the Eye Brave buff, allowing Warrior of Light to buff everyone with larger shields. If you are going to manually pop summon, then you can use something like a Brother Summon and popping it right when you hit 99% force gauge. However, really you don't need to. Just leave the game at Auto Plus and the fight should play itself out in 10 minutes or so. Now alternatives, I have been thinking a bit about this. I'm not really sure, but I think you may get the same run done replacing Ruby Kante with Gladiolus, because Gladiolus has damage mitigation, so he can protect most of the party as well. This allows you to save Ruby Kante, for example if you're doing this on Dare to Defy stage, but I did not test that out, so whether or not that's enough damage to last the entire fight remains to be seen, because Gladiolus doesn't have Force Echoes and he hits way less harder than Ruby Kante. Lastly, if you don't have Neon, you can use Setzer, but unfortunately not in an Auto Plus run. Setzer is pretty useful here because his LD will also grant everyone Rainbows, which helps you get around the Brave damage resistance, and he has Freeze Joker as well, which prevents the enemies from gaining Brave. You can't really do that though in an Auto Plus run because the AI will spam his LD right at the start, so you will burn out of Rainbows extremely quickly, and doing this as well means that the AI would not really use Freeze Joker until very late in the fight, which is kind of pointless. So yes, you can replace Neon with Setzer, but in that case you probably have to manually use his skills during his turn. You can also potentially replace Neon with Quina, but I would prefer to save Quina myself, so Neon it is. Anyway, really that's it for this fight. As always, I hope the video has been helpful. And if you enjoyed the content, do leave a like, comment and subscribe because it really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next Shinryu fight. Bye!